All right, we're live now. Thank you very much, everyone joining us. We are coming to you right from here in New Bodija, here in Ibadan, Nigeria. This is Dario Luso coming to you live from Pretoria here in South Africa. As you know, the African Portal Radio is your one-stop media house where everyone has a say. And today we have opportunity to have this exclusive interview with one of the legends, Professor Yemi Farombi. We are right here in his house to have this beautiful conversation with him. And to those of you that you are watching us live, please kindly do me a favor. Please share this program, let it go viral. The more you share it, the more you give it opportunity to go viral. And at the same time, also send your question to me, and we will pick it up. We will also throw your question to our legend, Professor Yemi Farombi. Let me welcome Professor Yemi Farombi to this conversation this hour. Those of you watching, thank you very much. I see you there. Please keep sending those comments. It's very, very important. Sir, it is a great pleasure to be here again. I have opportunity to meet you on Thursday at King FM 103.9 FM in Premier Hotel Ibadan. And I asked for the opportunity to have this conversation with you, which you granted me the opportunity. And I appreciate it. I don't take it for granted. Out of your busy schedule, you give us this opportunity to come and have this conversation with you. Sir, let me give you opportunity to introduce yourself to the listeners at home, who you are, where we are now, and the position you hold in the society.
I'd like to thank you and thank you very, very. This is, I like talking to young Nigerian, young Africans, because today is yours and tomorrow is yours. Today, for those of us who have had the privilege of getting to the top at a very young age, it is our duty to support young people. It is our duty to clear the path for young people. It is our duty to mobilize support for young people so that they can actualize their dreams, they can actualize their vision, and they can operationalize their mission. So I'm very, very grateful for this wonderful opportunity of being on this portal. So, of course, I share your hopes. I share your world, the better Africa. Who am I? Yemi Farombi. I've had the privilege of being broadcasted for what goes to about 54 years now. I've had the privilege of being the general manager at the age of 33 of the oldest television in Africa, former WNTV, WNBS. I had the privilege of being the general manager there. I've had the privilege of setting up brand new television station, then called New Day Television, now BCO. I've had the privilege of being in connection with most of the state-owned broadcast corporations in the southwest of Nigeria. I was 1985, 86, 87 involved in the reorganization of the Lagos State Broadcasting Corporation and the bifurcation into Lagos Television and radio. I was involved. In 1981, I was involved in the recruitment of staff for the Ogun State Television. In 1977, I was involved in writing out the programming philosophy of what is now called Ogun State Radio. 1981, 82, 83, I established the BCOS television. In 2000, 2010, I was the chairman of the Osun State Broadcasting Corporation. In 85, 86, 87, 88, I think. I was the managing consultant of the State Radio Vision Corporation. So almost all the corporations in the Southwest I've had time to interact with. I spent some time teaching. I've been a part-time teacher at the Department of Language and Communication out of the University of Ibadan for about 8 years. I did about 7 years teaching also in the Polytechnic of Central, the Polytechnic of Ibadan, the Department of Mass Communication. The last 1 or 2 years, I spent some time teaching at Bowen University. So I've been part academic, part professional, and I've been in politics. I've been National Deputy Chairman of the People's Solidarity Party at the way back in 87 or that. National Deputy Chairman of the UNCP. I've been a pioneer trustee of the PDP. I've also had the privilege of serving Nigeria as the ambassador of this great country in the Republic of Philippines. You know, that's why I am.
Wow, wow. So I appreciate this opportunity, and I thank God that I have this opportunity to talk to you and to ask 1 or 2 questions. Your experience and your contribution to media is one of the things that attracts our attention, because we stay far and we study you from far. We decide, let's go closer, let's see how things is going when we go closer. And when we get closer, is still remain the same. The experience still the same. The words people are saying about you, about your experience, about your contribution is still remain the same. And we decide, okay, let's come closer and have this conversation with you. Sir, let me take you back to the line of history because there is no one that doesn't have history. Take us back to the line of history. Who is Yemi Farumbi if you are taking you back to your childhood?
Well, my father was a priest of the Anglican Church. He did that for 41 years. He died in active service in 1978. My mother was a teacher for some time and then became full-time wife of the minister. Um, I was born somewhere in Ekiti, and I spent all my primary school years in Ekiti because my father was working in what was then called Lupini Diocese, that later became Ekiti Diocese of the Anglican Church. And as he was being transferred from one place, so I had to shift. So I started at St. Xavier's Igule Ekiti. I was at St. Paul's Ekiti. I was at St. David's Ikoro Ekiti. I ended up in 1955 at St. Andrew's Primary School in Ekiti. I was a beneficiary for 1 year, my final year in primary school, of Great Chief Aolo's free education program for the Western there. I went to high school at and yeah, I did very well, I think. I yeah, went to University of Nigeria, did geology for some time, and then geography for some time. And then when the Civil War came, the military governor of the Eastern Nigeria said he could not guarantee the safety of non-Negroes, and we had to leave. So I had to leave to come and finish at IFE. So I finished at IFE, upper second, I think the best in the class, and then did a master's at IFE. Had the best result, and given the Peter Dunus Award. Thereafter, I've had very many opportunities. I've been at City University of London. I spent some time at the Department of Mass Communications, Center of Mass Communication Research, University of Leicester. I spent little time with the Institute of Development Studies, University of Sussex. I've been at the Polytechnic of Central London, which is now known as University of Westminster. I've had a lot of hands-on training.
A very, very busy and a very interesting background. Sir, let's look at the achievements so far to where you are now. You once ambassador of Nigeria to Philippines, and also you are more of media and communication and stuff like that. So let's look at the current situation in the country, because that is main concern. And it's called for people like you to really address the situation of what is going on now, because there is so much question in the heart of the youth of today, and most of the question is not been answered properly to the satisfaction. So, what is your view about the current situation of Nigeria?
It is sad. When Nigeria became independent 1st of October 1960, incidentally, the 1st of October is my birthday. Nobody ever in the widest nightmarish dream thought Nigeria would be where it is. Because in 1960, Nigeria was ahead of Indonesia. Not likely to produce a good leader. Because you cannot plant oranges and pluck mango from it. There had to be a total reformation of this society. There had to be a go back to our basic African culture of hard work. Real hard work. Hard work does not mean menial job. It is work for your pay. You go into the civil services, you find people loitering about, 10 people doing one job. Nobody's working. The Bible says that when Adam offended, God said, you will eat from the sweat of your brow. Now we don't want to do that. People are going to rituals. People going to 419 and they're going to 419 plus. Everybody wants to be rich without care. We're hardworking, creative, innovative, resourceful people. Before the white came, we were making cutlasses. That meant before the white came, we were able to create a mini iron and steel because you needed iron for cutlasses and hoes. We were making there. Before the white scale, we were making it a bronze. We were casting bronzes. So that's our level of development. Before the West came, we had a thriving textile industry. Ashoki. Whichever you want to call it. Sanya, Alani, Echu. At least in Yoruba land, we had dresses we used in the house. We had dresses you used to go to farm or work. You had dresses if you just want to stroll in the evening. You had dresses if you had to have celebration. We made all of this before the whites came. But what happened to our textile industry? We used to have over 200 textile industries in this country. We don't have 6 working because there's no cotton. We used to have tobacco companies. Now they put that up because nobody is planting tobacco in Upper Ugu. We won't show you any longer. So it is a nightmare. It's an unbelievable situation that we are in.
I don't wanna bore you, but I need to come in here. Should we say that the democracy is not working in Africa or it's not working in Nigeria? Can we say that this problem come through democracy?
Democracy is government of the people, by the people, for the people. There can be no better alternative to people making their choices. But democracy does not mean indiscipline. Democracy does not suggest corruption. Democracy does not suggest licentiousness. The fact that you have freedom doesn't mean you have a license to do whatever you like. The fact that you have a rule of law does not mean you break laws. So it's not democracy that is failing, it's our practice, our understanding of it. When the whites left and the blacks took over leadership position in government, legislation, and so on, we took over the functions, and whites will not live with the common people because they were not part of us anyway, they were colonial power. But when we took over, we also operated as if we were colonial power. We did on top of the mountains. Okay, deal. We can't mix with the people. Because, yeah, the white can't mix with the people. You don't share their culture. They don't speak their language. They are afraid of malaria. But when we took over, we didn't do that. We didn't, for example, do what Mahatma Gandhi did in India and insists, no, you're not going to have foreign salt or less salt made in India. Oh, you're not going to wear any dress except dress made here. We became black men. No, sorry, we were white men in black color. We were still behaving. So it affected democracy. And then, of course, we had 28 years of military rule, all kinds of regimes. Some resourceful, some unresourceful, some devastating, some corrupt, downright corrupt. And some of them bred a new understanding of democracy. In trying to have what they call democracy, they introduced a vulgar monetization of politics. And that is the greatest problem we have with democracy. The fact that we are unable to elect the best. This is the only country you can probably say the best will never win an election. Either because they won't have the money to share, or there won't be facilities for him even to explain himself. This is only country where those who go to vote do not make informed choices. They make choices based on, oh, he's from the same ethnic nation like me. No, we share the same religion. Not that he is the best. We are not talking of merit. Democracy is not anti-merit. Democracy is just saying, you people, you have a choice to vote and vote for the best. But what are we doing? We are voting for the richest. And to quote Dr. Mbadiwe, those who are very rich from sources known and unknown. People you know had never worked had suddenly become rich. And they use the money to oppress us in election time. We now have the concept of buy, vote, and be paid. So you imagine how much that costs. So if you have good ideas and good policies, but you don't have that money, so what do you do? You can't even afford to put people at the polling unit agents representing you because of chair costs. You know, politics is expensive everywhere. There's no doubt. But what do they spend money for politics? Advertisement to explain their policies on radio, on TV, on social media, in newspapers, on billboards. Campaign, transporting your campaign to either by train or by air or by road. But what do we spend money for here? We vote money for police, we vote to bribe police, to bribe security, to buy everybody, every security agency, to bribe the election organizer. So we spend money here on issues that nobody spends money on in other democracies. So it becomes so expensive. So for the good man, it has become difficult for him to take that. And then, of course, we have political parties that are not run on democratic principles. At the end of the day, a man at home is going to vote for candidate nominated by the parties. When the parties themselves are not democratic in the nomination of the candidate. But the man at home has no choice. He has to make a choice between 6 and half a dozen, and the coin is fake. So it's either he sits at home, or he just looks at it, let me go for the head, let me go for tea. Not because there is any distinct differences. Now they are all parading for to decide on who will be the presidential candidate, the gubernatorial candidate, the National Assembly, the State Assembly candidate, or an election holding next week. Now they have to decide. So they decide. And then they tell us this is the people they've decided on. We don't know how they have decided upon. But they are all on this list now. None of them is telling us what he wants to do. They're just telling us, I have an ambition to be president, to be governor. All my life, I've wanted to be a president. To do what? Nobody is telling us that if I take over this economy, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to grow your GDP at this percentage in the first 1 year, in the second, in the third, and in the fourth year. Nobody is telling us I'm going to adopt a monetarist approach or a fiscalist approach to revamping this economy. Nobody is telling us how many jobs is going to create every year. Nobody is telling us how it's going to grow the manufacturing sector at what percentage. Nobody is showing to us that he has an understanding of the fourth revolution in the world, which is technological. Nobody is talking about that. Nobody is talking to us about infrastructural development. Nobody is talking to us about our universities. We have teachers that will be paid, well paid, and be ready to work.
Sir, I'm so sorry, sir. I need to come in here. Let's look at our judiciary system. And our assume we have a good judiciary system. Probably that may be an added value to us to solve the problem. What is the condition of the judiciary system in Nigeria?
What would you expect? The system as proved by the Constitution is that, say for the Supreme Court, the president will nominate the people and send it to the National Assembly for approval. The good will only attract the good. So if the man presiding as president or as governor himself is not excellent, would he nominate excellent people for approval? It's not likely. Because that's what Peter's principle. It's a management principle. He said there is always a relationship between those he will appoint. There is no incompetent person who will appoint people who are more competent than himself. So you have a judiciary dispensed appropriately. You have a judiciary where people begin to see the governors and the president as candidates who cannot be wrong. And don't forget that a few years ago, they raided the judges in midnight. So the fear of security agencies being used by government is the beginning of wisdom for the judges. So you cannot take an arm of government and hope to get the result you want. We've reached a situation in which even the National Assembly becomes a rubber stamp. It is worse in the states. They are not only rubber stamps, they are worship centers. They worship the governor. They bow down to them, go to them. They are not a balance, which is what we expect it in a normal democracy. There is going to be three arms of government, and it should be a check on the other. The legislature will be a check on the executive. The judiciary will be a check on the executive and the legislature. But the judiciary is filled with people nominated by the executive, ratified by the legislature to maintain the status quo. So we need a total rethinking. It is not democracy that has failed. It is us as human beings, as operators, as people believe that everything can be bought and everything must be bought. That's faith.
Sir, the youth are sitting on the fence. Most of them are not involved. Most of them are just watching. Some of them doesn't even know what to do. Some of them have given up that whatever that happen, let it happen. Some of them run out of the country. So what do you think is the solution to this problem?
You see, I'm very sorry for the youth. I sympathize a lot with them. They have never seen good governance. So sometimes they don't even know whether what we have is good. Those who are born about 1999 will be 23 now. You will have seen only the Fourth Republic. Those who are born when Abela's election was annulled in 1993 will be 33 now. They have not seen anything besides military government of Abacha, Abdul Salam, and a succession of civilian regime that had not fulfilled hopes. So they have not seen anything good. They've not seen oppression, a good civilian government, or even a good government of any form. So when they keep quiet, I can understand. You have to know what is good for you to know this one is bad. And then here are they are told, go to school, they go to school. Instead of 4 years, they spend 7 years, not because they are failed, but because as we striking, because government is in transit. So when you manage to create a good job, because the economy is not good, it's shrinking. What do they think of? Get out of it. But in spite of the shrinking of the economy. They find a few people in politics wallowing in wealth. They remember that that man, before he became a councillor, was wearing bathroom slippers over the street. He becomes a councillor, he has cars, he builds mansions. And they suddenly find that today they are in a Nigeria where money is the answer.
Hmm.
You get saluted if you have money. You don't get saluted because you have good character. You don't get saluted because you are brilliant. You don't get saluted because you are adding value to the society. You get shared because you are displaying money. So the youth is left with, oh, I must make money. Maybe if I go abroad and I get $1, and that $1 will fetch me 570 naira. Don't forget that in this country, in 1979 up to 85, $1 was 68 kobo.
Hmm.
That $1 is 570 naira. £1 was 120 kobo. That £1 is almost 800 naira. At the time I was talking, if you had 1,000 naira, they give you 952 pounds. So you now look at it. Maybe I should go abroad and make money so I can be saluted. Maybe I can go abroad, even if I have to do many jobs that has nothing to do with my training. Because after all, what's the difference? They tell me that I should go to the farm. I've read architecture. I've read medicine. Hospitals don't have doctors, but there are doctors without jobs.
Hmm.
As you explained. So the youth now takes his own destiny in his hands and goes out of the country. Or he begins to find shortcuts to have money. For one nine, for 1 9 plus, fraud. In any case, he doesn't feel bad about it because he hears on radio or television that one minister is taking $3 billion away and they spend about 20 years in court, unable to try him, unable to make him guilty, until probably he dies. So he says, let me find a way of making money. And then they become disillusioned. They become disenchanted. Because they have training, they have no opportunity to utilize their training. They have education. They don't have the availability to use the education. Then they become despondent. Until, of course, they discover themselves and had the answers. Nobody expected that. And I think the youth must wake up. You are 60% of this population. If the youth were to rally around the youth would be a president.
But sir, you mentioned something now that I want you to please say something about it. NSAS, it seems not to really put the message that the youth really wanted to pass across out.
Yes, because as will happen in a country of the third world, they got the hoodlums to infiltrate them. You know that for 10 days, they used peaceful demonstration. When they were demonstrating, it reminded me of the demonstration that used to be on the streets of Manila in Philippines when they wanted to chase away Estrada from the president. No violence. They took over the streets, paralyzed the transportation, paralyzed the airport. In 3-4 days, the government realized they had to leave. But we have a sensitive government here. So what do? They don't miss it. They penetrated the youth and hoodlums. Now started people going to other people's houses and distorted the image the youth wanted to create. Again, I think for lack of experience. That was the first time they ever had that for many, many years. After the Dakopala shares had descended on Papa Balewa, where the ministry, federal government ministry used to be, and descended in 1962 and said no to a UK Nigerian defense park. And the Prime Minister, they had to abrogate the defense park because of the movement of the student. We haven't had that for long. So when they came with answers, they didn't have an experience to fall back to. So when towards the end they got infiltrated, they didn't have an answer to. But of course, if ever they do that, they will know the likelihood of being infiltrated, and they will know how to handle such. So that's why it now appears as if it's filtered away opportunity. It was lack of experience.
So many institutions already failed in the country, but the sad part is that the educational institution is not functioning well. But let me put it in this content: educational system in Africa, because I realized that most of the problem here in Nigeria affecting other African countries as well. What is your view about the educational system in Africa?
Well, the greatest problem is that we have education for ornamentation, education for decoration. I have I have A-levels. I have bachelor degree. I have master. I have doctors. Decoration. It is not functional. It is not education that is dedicated to solve the problems of the society. All over. So we imported educational processes and systems from other countries. Those educational systems were designed to solve the problems of this country. But our own problems are different. So when we import those systems, they cannot solve our problems. We have problems of retarded growth agriculturally, industrially, commercially, technologically. And our own education is not designed for that because we have imported a system that has no relevance. It's not functional education. So we had to start by making our own educational system functional. It has to relate to the problems of the society. It has to relate to our vision of where we want our country to be. What we want our countries to be. Why will we be building railway lines and we rely on Chinese technicians to do?
Why we have the students study engineering in Africa, and
All over.
and it's happening in all Africa, because you realize that any project that needs to be done in Africa, especially the African corridor, it have to be, I mean, they have to bring in an expatriate from other parts of the world to come and do that, and that is saddening.
It's very sad. When we have colleges of technology, we have trade centers, we had polytechnics, we have universities,